Sean Gibson, Gaming Illustrated here at the Irvine Spectrum for the Mists of Pandaria release. I am with senior producer Ray Cobo. Dude, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Really excited. Really excited to be here.
You can start to feel the energy in the area here. There's it's palatable and there's some electricity. I'm excited.
It's going to be very, very fun. We're really looking forward to it. We've been working on this for a little while now, and we're excited to bring it out to you guys and have everybody start to play it.
So, want to ask about you. I've seen you do a lot of interviews, so like, tell me about the dungeons and tell me about the raids. Dude, I want to get to know Ray. I want to know what Ray's about because you're the man. I mean, you're the senior producer behind this game. You come from a gaming background. You worked at EA. You worked at one of my favorite games, Command & Conquer 3. But that was an RTS game. Now you're in the MMO space. Talk a little bit about your experience, what you brought to the table for Blizzard.
Well, I've been doing a lot of console throughout the years, and I did a little bit. I started off in the industry with some PC, and then moved into console for a number of years, and now I'm back in the PC world with World of Warcraft, and it's an amazing team. It's an amazing development team. I can't be more proud of the team that I work with, and they've done an incredible job with Mists of Pandaria. I think that WoW is one of those interesting development opportunities to where it's like a moving train. It never stops, right? So it's always going. It's always moving. There's no break. So you ship a product and you're on to the next thing. We're already talking about the next thing, the next expansion, the next patches. So it's a very, very fun environment.
And Ray's going to announce the next expansion pack for what? No, I'm not going to put you on the spot like that. But lots of questions from our Twitter followers and some other fans. But let's talk about your daily life at Blizzard. What does a senior producer do? Do you just yell at project managers, tell them to get their job done, make sure you check the scrum board, or what do you do?
Well, it's a lot of coordination, it's a lot of communication, a lot of talking, running around. There are a lot of groups. My specific focus is with the game design group. Mm-hmm. So I work most closely with all the game design leads, like the encounter design lead, the class design lead, the level design lead, the quest design lead, all of them basically, and help kind of do the scheduling and structuring and processes to kind of make sure that the game goes where it needs to go, and also that it stays on schedule for the most part. So
now, you have an art background, if I'm not mistaken. So I know Blizzard is big on artwork. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Samwise Didier, and I know he had a heavy influence in the Pandarian, obviously. But talk about is it more beneficial to Blizzard and the project that you come from that art background?
Well, I think the art stuff is very well under control. We have some really, really big heavy hitters. Chris Robinson is a great art director. He does an amazing job with the art team, and the whole art team itself is incredible at what they do. So you'll look at the art in Mists of Pandaria, and you can see the evolution of the art from when we first launched Vanilla to now. And it's effectively the same game engine, but the artists have learned to use those tools and have maximized the technology to kind of push every pixel and polygon out there that make it look amazing.
So I've got a friend, he also is a Twitter follower, I might add, who had a very good analogy that I'm going to run by you. I'm very interested to hear about World of Warcraft. That, when originally, I was on the original beta when you would lose experience points when you die, and thought, well, 5 years, maybe 6, and for the lifespan of this game, and now we're 8, 9 years, and no end in sight. And he said there is no end to World of Warcraft. This might be a 30 to 40 year life cycle, and what you guys have created is Disneyland, the new digital Disneyland. And when one place gets stale, you'll just go in and fix Space Mountain, and we need a new place, we'll just bring that up. I know Mike Morheim is big on the analogy with Disney. What do you think of that analogy? Does World of Warcraft, is it conceivable, 30, 40 year lifespan, and that analogy to Disneyland?
I think so. I mean, I think there's no end to the stories we can tell in that world, in that universe, and I think it's a universe that people want to live in and play in and have fun in. And you invest a lot of time, developing a character and a persona and all that stuff in Azeroth. So it's a living, breathing world, and that's one of the beautiful things about WoW. It's not like a product that just kind of goes on the shelf and you never play it again once you finished it. There's ways to win in WoW, but you never really win. You just kind of continue on and have a great time with the world.
So that takes me into my next card here, which is concluding Cataclysm. Now, I'll be completely blunt. We'll keep it real. Cataclysm got off to a real rocky start for me, and I am not a huge dedicated WoW guy, but I've been playing since day one, and I love the game. But I wanted to kill the guy in the box. That's my thing. When I buy a game, I kill the guy in the box, and I've never been able to do that with WoW until the last patch with Cataclysm or with the Raid Finder, and you gave me a way as a casual player, as well, relatively, right, to reach that goal. It was an attainable goal. I went for it, went through the heroics, Raid Finder, had a great time, and I got to see the end game content. It seemed that you guys followed through with your promise to make WoW more friendly for the casual gamer.
Absolutely, and that was one of the big philosophies that we went into Mists of Pandaria with, is that we wanted content for all kinds of players, right? So we have content that's going to hopefully satisfy the hardcore players and content that's going to satisfy the casual gamers, right? We got looking for raid for the new raids coming up, which is going to be amazing. I think everybody's going to really enjoy some of the content that we put into that. You got pet battles for the casual players as a mini game, and then you got challenge modes that are going to really press the hardcore players to kind of give everything they got to get that gold medal and get that prestigious gear, you know?
So we have some new zones, and I'm going to make you choose amongst your children. Which one's your favorite? Which ones do you think gamers will enjoy the most? Because that might be something different.
That is a very, very difficult question.
I told you this was going to be easy, right?
Yeah. You know, every one of them is different in a lot of ways, but to be honest, I think that it's interesting because when you come into Pandaria, you're going to come into kind of a very tranquil, seemingly serene environment. You know, a lot of forests, a lot of hills, and you start to meet the Pandaren, and you meet some of the local cultures that are there, and it sort of progresses as you go through the continent into a more of a darker space. You know, when you get towards the end with Townlong and Dread Waste, you start to see the Shah, you start to see the Mantage, start to see the threat of what might happen to Pandaria, and you got to help everybody, you know, resolve that threat. So it's hard to just pick one zone because I think each one of them has a lot of interesting, fun stuff in them, and I think players are going to really enjoy it from front to back.
Okay, so one thing I love to do, I love to run dungeons.
Yes.
And I think, I've heard, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, that right off the bat there's going to be a dungeon, and there's going to be a lot of lore and story that's going to fuel the rest of your experience in the expansion. Could you talk a bit about all the dungeons? I mean, don't go through each one, obviously, but just tell us overall, holistically, what are we going to get with the dungeons, and are we going to see some early on that's going to fuel us through the rest of the expansion?
Well, sure. I mean, the first dungeon you're probably going to hit is Temple of the Jade Serpent, and that dungeon has a lot of lore in it. It kind of sets the tone for Pandaria and how it kind of came about. There's a lot of history and lore there. And so you get a sense of what the Panda are about by being able to play that. But a lot of our dungeons are going to have a not as dark or oppressive feel as some of the dungeons in the past have had, right? So when you go to Stormstout Brewery, you're going to run into a brewery that's been taken over by the Hosen, which is a bunch of monkeys, you know, effectively like a bunch of 13-year-old boys. And you get to go and you have to like quell those guys, tell everybody to settle down. It's going to be okay. We're going to get the beer flowing again. We're going to get stuff going again.
I don't have to worry about the fate of the world and not get any sleep tonight, right?
That's right. And then, you know, as you progress through this dungeon, you get attacked by a giant rabbit. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of fun. We had a really good time with this stuff. We're hoping that's a little lighter content, but still, you know, still challenging and fun for the players.
Awesome. Let me get my next question out here. Okay. So let's talk about raids. I think there have been 3 announced. One's going to be available off the bat. When are the other 2, if you can announce when they're going to be available? And is the raid finder going to continue to be active? When does that get unlocked?
Yeah, so we are going to launch one right away. We're going to wait and see how progress goes on that, and kind of the others we have a bit of a timetable for, but we're not really set in stone on that. So we want to kind of roll them out when it makes sense, but it's not going to be long. And we definitely are going to attach the looking for raid stuff to that stuff because we want a lot of players being able to access the content. And we think that was one of the things that really fueled Cataclysm and really fueled that 4.3 patch was that everybody was like, wow, really excited. I can see the final boss. I can actually kill him.
Yes.
Or normally I would not be able to do that.
Right.
So you do get to kill the villain on the box. Only on the box this time we have a panda. So.
I kill him too. So that's fine.
That might be tough. He's not easy to kill. They're tough dudes.
Okay, so let's conclude with a few questions. So, you know, the beta always comes out, and you have a lot of people participating in the beta. I'd like to know what you guys go in hoping for to come out of a beta. Just generally, when you come out with a beta, what do you hope to get? And then what did you get out of the Miss of Pandaria beta?
Well, we when we launch a beta, we really want to know like what the player base thinks of the content. We really want to, you know, help. We want help kind of finding bugs. We want help with the content. We want help kind of knowing where our trouble spots are. And we trust the fan base. We have a really strong dialogue with the Blizzard and the WoW fan base. And so we listen to the feedback and we try and act on that stuff. And when we did this beta in particular, we found a lot of interesting stuff. And in particular, we thought, you know, the feedback that was coming out of Jade Forest when you first come into Pandaria wasn't as strong as what we wanted. So we actually went back to the drawing board and kind of reworked that a little bit. And I think what we came out with was a lot stronger than what we had originally going in. And also we used the beta as kind of a stress test too. Like this time around we had more beta players than we've ever had before. I think we had like 1.3 million beta players, which is insane. But we were able to stress test the servers, we were able to stress test some of the content, kind of see where the bottlenecks are and adjust for that.
Last question here. What do you want people to remember Mists of Pandaria when they think of the game 5 years from now? That's another very easy question.
Yeah, I think, Mists is, when we look back on Mists, it's gonna probably look like a point in time where we took a breath, right? We stopped to kind of say, okay, we've had all this death and destruction and the world's coming to an end for patch after patch now. Let's take a breath, do a little exploration, do a little adventure, have a little intrigue, and that's just probably the new talent tree system, by the way. So I think we're going to have a little fun with that, and just take a step back, enjoy the content, enjoy the world, and then move on from there. It's gonna ramp up. There's no question. There's going to be a lot of Horde and Alliance stuff that's going to happen throughout this expansion, and you're going to see some good stuff.
All right, I'm going to sneak in one final question.
Do it.
Mike Morheim has said that he wants the rate of expansion packs to come out quicker. The last one that came out, Cataclysm, was November, December of 2010. We're coming out almost 2 years. Are we going to see another one? Is it going to take 2 years? Is it going to be a year and a half? Are you guys aiming, at least, to come out with a quicker life cycle for these expansion packs?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's something that we really want to do. It's something that we really strive to do. But we're also perfectionists at the same time. So we really want the content to be good. We don't want to just shove it out on a timeline. We strive to get it out sooner. We know the players want content faster, but we want to also make sure the content is great. So I can't promise it's going to be every 2 years or every year, but I think that's something that we definitely want to try and get better at.
All right, Ray, thank you so much for your time. Very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you for stopping by GamingIllustrated.com.